Okay, I've tried to record this 100 times and I cannot say it right. This is the night before I leave for my first solo trip I've ever taken. I'm going to Singapore and Indonesia. I'm so excited. I'm so freaking nervous because, like, especially as a girl, especially as doing this alone, it's nerve-wracking to be all by yourself. And like the time difference from home is like 15 hours.
I don't know if you can see this, 15-hour time difference.
I'm freaking out. And it's not like I'm going with my school or a tour company or a group. No, it's fully alone. And I kind of wouldn't have it like any other way. Like, I'm really excited to just be like exploring alone, but obviously I'm very nervous. I was gonna show you guys. I have this whole scrapbook of my traveling thus far, and I wanted to share with you guys a fortune cookie I got. I do not believe in fortune cookies, but I got one when I was with my family at a Chinese restaurant. Each one that our family member got was like spot on, so accurate. Like, it was so funny accurate. And I was the last one to open, and this is what mine said. I don't think you can see it, but it said, "Traveling more often is important for your health and happiness." And I, like, the fact that mine even had the word traveling in there was like so exciting, because this is something that I want to do for the rest of my life, and I think it's gonna be a test to see if I can really do this alone, because that's kind of what I'm expecting to do for most of my trips. And by traveling, I do not mean vacations. These are not relaxing. I usually cry because I'm also a cheapskate, so these are not like luxurious. These are like all paid for by a minimum wage job, but it's traveling. And so it's really exciting, and I'm so excited to go. And I wanted to make this video to like encourage people. Sometimes you just gotta book that plane ticket and go, because a lot of the places that I've been so far, even though I really only started traveling this last year and a half, I wouldn't have gone if I didn't buy the ticket in a whim. I'm such an overthinker that it never would have happened. And so again, I would not be able to do this if I couldn't do it affordably. But we gotta go, pack and get ready. This is gonna be a 37-hour travel day. Let's go. Let's see if I make it there, honestly.
Children travel by bus, and they tell stories of us. I wonder how they feel. Do they know what is real? And when they close their eyes,
I feel like in the videos I appear very calm, and I think part of me was, but internally there were definitely moments of pure anxiety where I just didn't know what I would do if something went wrong. But I guess you have those moments anywhere, and you kind of just roll with it and try to make the best decision. One of those moments for me was when I was walking down a street. I didn't know where I was, I didn't know how to get home, and this man with a motorcycle drove by and said, "Do you need a ride?" And he had a uniform on that made me assume he was like a taxi service driver, and I have never ridden a motorcycle with someone random. I think I did once with my uncle, but instincts kind of took over, and I was just like, sure. And it ended up being a good decision because it was so much fun, and it was way cheaper than taxi services. And so from then on in the trip, every time I needed a ride, I would order a motorcycle ride, which was not expected, but definitely a highlight of my trip.
holding hands, telling her all my worst sins.
Bali was a lot more spiritual than I anticipated. All over the island, there's statues and offerings on the ground. The land is covered in temples. People constantly mention karma, and that's kind of why they seem to have good intentions. And I thought it was so interesting to learn about it and to try to participate in ways that respect what they believe in. A lot of the temples you couldn't even enter unless you had on a certain uniform. I think it's always so cool to learn about that stuff and to learn how different places are from home. When I first landed, there was a lot of initial culture shock, kind of the same that I felt when I landed in Peru. I think I just felt really alone, and it became clear to me that this is all on me. If something goes wrong, if there's a mess up, this is all on me. There's no one to help me. My family was asleep when I arrived, and they're a 37-hour flight away. There's no one here to help me. And that is a terrifying feeling. But it was weird, after a couple days, you just get used to it. You get used to feeling alone, you get used to the place, and you kind of feel like there's nothing else out there, that this is it. And that's, to me, like one of the best parts about traveling, because you realize how easy it is to get stuck somewhere. And when it became time to even leave the trip, it just kind of felt unnatural to leave the place, because I'd gotten so used to the food and the people and my routine in this completely different environment. But it just goes to show you can kind of adjust to anything, and I think that's truly amazing.
Did you get what you wanted? Trailblazing, running wild now. Did you get what you wanted? You sped off on your own, praising pace above all else now. You sped off on your own. And you're running in circles and games that can't be won. You finally look up and realize what you've done. When the lights fall, all you build just fades away.
This trip will always mean so much to me, because it was the first time I've ever been truly alone.